So do you remember that one trip where I ran out of gas in the 62 series and then I had to come get rescued by my dad bringing me some gas? Well, check this out. So my dad's Land Cruiser caught on fire because the gas that he brought me wasn't fully sealed, and we decided to do a little bit of off-roading afterwards, and a lot of gas had leaked out and covered all of the carpet area. And at some point when we got home, he was pulling some of his maybe recovery straps out. That's the only thing we can really gather. And a spark caught something and it went up in flames. So the entire rear passenger or rear driver area is caught up in flame and just burnt to a crisp. So we're gonna have to take all of this out. But the funny thing is, this was insured for $20,000 through the insurance company. So we ended up buying this back from the insurance company actually, and we're gonna keep it, but we're not sure what we're gonna do with the interior because it's kind of, you know, hazardous as far as carcinogens and all that. So there was no fire in the engine bay or anything like that. It's all just here in the back section, but the insurance company had us take it to a body shop and they deemed it totaled essentially. So we bought it back from them, which is actually one of the few times that your insurance company, a situation with them works out in your favor. All the headliner is, you know, singed, and they deemed it, you know, hazardous to continue on with it, you know, breathing in carcinogens or whatever. It's, you know, they just deemed it, you know, not drivable or fixable for the price of the vehicle. So we're gonna most likely just rip all this out, and this is gonna become a trail rig. As clean as it was, you know, sometimes things happen. And there's a bunch of just soot and ash from all the different plastics or upholstery in here. But she still drives okay, except for the ticking from our $6,000 rebuild engine from the Land Cruiser shop. Still have yet to hear back from them, so that's cool. But yeah, she still drives. She's gonna be a trail rig now though, or a hunting vehicle. We still need to figure out that ticking noise. Hopefully it's something that's not going to cause catastrophic failure, just kind of annoying. But anyways, that's an update on the white Land Cruiser. I know some of you have been asking what's going on with it, and this is what's going on with it. Over the last couple weeks, I got this Cummins engine torn down, and we have found by the machine shop running their Magna Dust tests that a few of these injector ports have cracks in them. So specifically what I'm talking about is this injection port right here. And what they did is, you can see there's remnants of the Magna Dust. Basically, they use some sort of a dust that is demagnetized. I'm not exactly sure how it works. But he was able to see in these first three injector ports that there are a couple holes while taking a magnet and drawing this Magna Dust into these little holes or galleys here. So this head is no longer good. We can't use this head. We're going to have to either get a new head or start over with a whole new engine. And the more I've torn this down, the more I've thought about just grabbing a whole new engine. But I think it would be kind of cool and good content to be able to salvage this. What I'm talking about is this crankshaft. Here's a good one of the journals that is just most likely no good anymore. So I'm about to take this into the machine shop to get it inspected or to have their opinion on this journal right here. I can run my fingernail and I can kind of catch it here. So these bearings, some of them were down to the copper, and I can catch a little ridge right here. So most likely this crankshaft is going to have to be ground, which means we're gonna have to get undersized bearings, and yeah, it's kind of a mess. Now, this is, you know, sort of what I expected from a $600 marketplace Cummins engine. It's super dirty, needs to be cleaned, it's going to need gaskets and rings and all that. But the question is it worth saving and salvaging? Is the cost going to be too much to justify rebuilding this, or is it better to just get a new engine? Now, this Cummins engine, I was planning on putting in the FJ62, but I think I'm actually going to put it in the Red 80 series and take my time with it and do a full rebuild and potentially put it on Bring a Trailer and see how much money I can get for it. I want it to be extremely clean. I want everything to be stock, no hood stack, that kind of stuff. I want it to be clean and get good mileage and just be able to run forever with no leaks. That's one of the big things that I was dealing with the first Cummins swap Land Cruiser that I did. But right now, I'm going to take this crank to the machine shop and see what they say, if it can be polished or if it needs to be ground, and then we'd go with 0.25 or 25 thousandths of an inch undersized bearings. And then as far as the head's concerned, I did find a new head for $1,000. Now, new, I don't know exactly what that means. A lot of them are coming from China, which does worry me, but this head is no longer good. We can keep all of our fittings, our overflow valve, and all these sensors, which we won't use anyways. But yeah, let's get this crank into the back of the Corolla and take it to the machine shop and see what they say. So I scored this NV4500 out of a Dodge Ram yesterday up in Colville, Washington. Got this plus the adapter plate, or the bell housing rather, for $900. And this one is in good working condition. So this was taken from a truck from a guy who had originally purchased the truck, and all the synchros are in pretty good condition. There's something I remember looking for. If you look at the synchros, you can see they're kind of in the shape of a house, and you want to see a pointed edge on top of all of them, and they're all pretty good. If I remember correctly, yeah, so I think this is first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, reverse, and fifth. So this is in good working condition. I'll probably replace the synchros just because this is going to have to be rebuilt. We're going to go ahead and just go with the kit from Dustin for this, as he has some cool innovative things for the swap kit, which include Hydro Boost, which has a little fitting in it to, you know, for your tax sensor. So instead of having a crankshaft pulley with 3 targets, we can just use that. I'm still quite unsure on which vehicle I want to swap it into, but we'll get to that in a sec. This has 29 splines, and this was from a 2-wheel drive Dodge. So this is going to have to be rebuilt anyways. It doesn't really need rebuilding. Of course, I'll do new output and input shaft bearings, as well as a couple other things. But for those of you who are kind of new to these whole Cummins swaps into Land Cruisers, what Dustin did is he took a 2-wheel drive shaft and milled this part off and milled it down to 19 splines instead of this 29 spline, which was what Dodge comes with from the factory. So this all get milled down. Well, not this shaft, but maybe this shaft. No, not this shaft. Dustin already has 19 spline milled down. So we're going to rebuild it with one of those shafts and essentially just slide all these gears. That's actually a lot more difficult than that. It's not that easy, but I'm going to attempt to do this by myself. But yeah, good news. We did get a NV4500. Now back to the bad news. So we went to a machine shop and the crankshaft is not within specs, so the crank needs grinding. We have sent it off to another shop and they're confident they can get it down to at least, you know, 25 thousandth, which is the first kind of step in grinding a crank. And then you would get undersized bearings from there, whether it's 50 thou or 75 thousand over. We don't think it's going to be that bad. It should just be 25 thousand over, get some nice moly clevite bearings, and then the crank's going to be good. Like I said, we do need a new head, but I found a couple that we're probably going to be using, a Chinese one, but it's brand new. So we'll see how that goes. VE pump is going to get rebuilt. And then after that, we just need a gasket set. And essentially we can just start building the engine and be good. Like I said, this build's not going to be for horsepower or rolling coal. It's going to be for reliability and no leaks and longevity. So wanted to end the video on at least somewhat of a good note that we were able to find that NV4500 and build is continuing forward. What I really want to do now is hopefully get this red Land Cruiser sold. It's listed now for $15,000 and I have 2 potential buyers. Just I've been working 37 out of the last 39 days with this new promotion at work, which is a good thing, more money, but it's taking more time. So thanks for bearing with me. I'm not able to upload as quickly or as often as I used to. Things are going to start getting uploaded a little bit quicker now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully after this red Land Cruiser gets sold, I'm going to be able to afford to get a shop finally, and then I can get a 2-post lift and start doing all these cool projects with a lift, taking the body off and doing a lot more welding and fabrication as I've always wanted to. So good things are happening. It's just slow. So as you can imagine, things are expensive and money is tight. But anyways, thank you guys for always sticking with me. I appreciate you watching. If you have any comments, of course, leave them in the comment section below. Any suggestions, go ahead and let me know. And we will see you in the next one.